Hello guys, Blagaga here, and finally with another video about the 4 new Subterror cards from Maximum Crisis. I did playtest the deck a lot in the last days and weeks, and I also played on a small tournament with the deck, so I can give you my experience with the 4 new cards and also my build. Yeah, gonna tell you how good Subterrors actually are now with the final support from Maximum Crisis, and look a little bit in the future. So first of all, we have a Speleo, guys, level 11 Behemoth, and he can turn any monster on the field into a 0 attack useless monster, and also put defense position monsters your opponent controls into attack position. So there are two ways you can use the effect of Speleo, guys, to your advantage. The first one is you choose an opponent's monster and make that opponent's monster 0 attack. If it attacks into one of your monsters, you can deal a lot of damage, especially together with the trap card that we talk about later. And he's really nice. At the start I thought he wouldn't be that good, but do you know what? The card is actually decent. I wouldn't play more than like 2 copies of this guy, but he's safe as a one-off in the deck. The other thing that you can do is obviously target one of your own monsters. Sadly, that monster also gains 0 attack, but you can use this to flip your monsters face up to basically get like a double flip summon during your opponent's turn, which is nice. It doesn't matter that he is kind of like all the other Behemoths. He's nothing special. Also, the fact that all the Behemoths are commons now just shows me that Konami realized that the Behemoths on their own won't save the deck. But more onto that later. The next Behemoth is Phosphoroclaser, I think is the name. And he is like a Laval chain for Subterrors. He can put any card from the deck into the graveyard, which is really powerful. I think this is the card that we should expand on, that we should focus on to make the deck as viral as possible in the metagame, because his effect is so incredible that you can do so many things with it thanks to this effect. The best thing is probably to use Chlora Bulb to go into certain synchro monsters. Also nice would be to put a card like, for example, Lost Wind in the graveyard so that you can use it to your advantage, and of course Nemesis Warrior. The card also has the highest attack and defense value combined of all the Behemoths, which is nice together with the trap card. So 5100 attack and defense is nothing to joke about. You can even attack over Utopia the Lightning with this. So that's really good. And last but not least, he's also level 8, so potentially could just trade in, but to be honest with you guys, it's too risky. What really annoys me about the Behemoths is their typing. Fiend and archetype is nothing good. I was really hoping for a plant or a dinosaur to use one of the dinosaurs together with the new structure deck. Let's focus on the good cards, because the Behemoths are okay. They are better than some of the other ones like Voltulurik or Dragosari, but they could have been better. Now we come to the really good cards. Fiendus is one of the best cards that Subterrors have, and in my opinion in the top 3 Subterror cards. I mean, she basically does everything for the deck. She enables all the special summons from the hand or the graveyard. She makes plus, which is always good. She also gives the deck additional protection and also a control option by negating opponent's effects. She can flip monsters face down during your opponent's turn to special summon Behemoths from your hand. She does all that stuff, and that's why she is so incredibly good. And if you're playing Subterrors, you're playing triple copies of her always. There is no other option. So at least with the final for support, we got one really, really good card, which is on the same level like Nemesis Warrior and the Hidden City. And yeah, I don't actually want to talk about more about Fiendus, because we all know she is ridiculously good. There's nothing negative to say about her. She's just a hell of a card. And the next card is the trap card. So the trap card obviously is pretty good. especially the flipping face up monster effect and also the attack and defense gaining effect are the best ones. The last one, which allows your monsters to be be negated, or your cards not be negated, can be nice in certain situations. And also flipping your own monsters face down is sometimes cool, but the attack gain effect and the flipping face up during your opponent's turn effect is really where it's at, because that also gives you the option to, during your turn, to flip your own monsters face up, which is really important, which only the Hidden City did up to this point, and we did need more of these effects. The deck still relies on those spell and trap cards, and it also plays a lot like Monarchs, where you have these high-level monsters, and you kind of have to deal with tricky hands. And from my experience, like 8 Subterrors are the maximum that I would play. 9 and 10 are already... It can be really good in certain situations, but if you start with like 4 behemoths in your hands, it's not good. It's not what you want. Because if your opponent negates one of your opening plays, like an Instant Fusion or Fiendus, you're done. Like, there's nothing you can do. You will lose the game to a Solemn Strike. And there's too much interruption in the game right now, too many quick effects, which can interrupt you, so you have to play the most consistent build with a lot of powerful cards like Reasoning and 1-for-1 to open as consistent as possible. This is also good with the new Scorpio, the Predaplan Scorpio engine. I played a mirror match today against a guy who played with this engine, and he beat the hell out of me. He was also a really good player. I couldn't beat him. His build was much more offensive than mine. And I don't have an Invoker, so I couldn't play this engine, but it seems to be the better option for the deck right now. Yeah, Final Battle is definitely a good card, but it doesn't help the deck on its own. It's not a game starter, which is bad, because if you open up with 3 Final Battles and Behemoths in your hand, you still, although you have really powerful cards in your hand, you cannot do anything. And this is the main problem with the deck right now. Like, this deck could have been meta. This deck had a lot of potential, but they threw it away. And I think there are 3 cards that are responsible for this, which are Nemesis Defender, Cave Clash, and Burrowing. All of these 3 cards could have made the deck a lot better if they had like one additional effect that really helped the consistent start of the deck and also protection. If one of these cards had like one additional effect, like Nemesis Defender had the effect that you can special summon and save from your hand if you control a face up, be a monster, or a face down defense position monster, or a Nemesis monster. You could special summon them from the hand or from the graveyard. That would have been really good. If Burrowing had the effect that it also protects your monsters from battle and makes them completely unaffected and had no activation condition, then it would have been really good. Or it had more like, you always would gain the Searching effect. Always. It doesn't have to be destroyed. It always triggers if it's sent to the graveyard. Or maybe if Cave Clash had like an additional option to special summon behemoths from your hand, so that you have an opening, because Cave Clash, especially with Phosphoroclasia, is really powerful. I'm not gonna lie, the card in the late game is really devastating. But the main problem is that you simply cannot play it because it pricks too much. And if it would do anything for the consistency of the deck, the deck would have been better. Seriously. Because then you could play triple copies of Cave Clash, and Cave Clash with the additional consistency option, that would have been the point where the deck just would be really good. Like if Cave Clash had the effect once per turn you can special summon one behemoth monster from your hand in face up attack or defense or face down defense position, that would be the point where I would say I play a triple Cave Clash and I play a lot more behemoths and I just go full offense with the deck and try to special summon all the behemoths from my hand, then normal summon Nemesis Warrior and tell my opponent come at me. And that would be the point where the deck really would have been good. I'm also hoping for link format, because a lot of decks that are dangerous for this deck at the current point in time play a lot of special summon monsters from the extra deck, and of course link format will nerf this and make Subterror's additionally a little bit better. So that's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. I promise I will upload consistently now that I have internet connection, and I wish you all a nice day and nice weekend. Till next time.